I continue to receive requests on how to make previews for kits, and so I'm going to do this video here for you today, and I hope that it is helpful for you. Let's create a new file, blank file, and make it your scrapbooking 12 by 12 at 300%. And I'm going to have to drag it in there for PSE 8. That's something I've learned to do in this newer version. Need to do a tutorial on that. I have a kit here of mine, my heritage kits. I had to have something to play with to show you how to do this. Now, when I've made my previews, such as this one right here, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, I think it's in the screen. I've just basically drug everything over and piled it all up. You can see though that as I've recommended in the designer classes, I don't have my logo on there, and I do need to start doing that. But there's no really right or wrong answer to the previews, but having a better looking preview does help. So what I've always done in the past is to simply just drag, whoops, I don't want that, let's pull that out. Drag the files into my preview file. Let's get a few of them here. And I would always just, pick one that I'd want for the background, such as that one, and then I would just stack this one up here. Let's get about 5 papers so that we can really have something to work with. Let's get a green one. And one more. This one's good. Start with blue, end with blue. How you arrange them in order makes a big deal too. I'm constantly rearranging them, and then I've always just kind of eyed it because I'm not a professional designer, but if you're going to be a professional designer, you would want to do this better. And then I apply layer styles to each of the layers. Now, the reason this is not always the best way to do it is because, for one thing, you get a whole lot of stuff in here on your file, and your page is going to be really, really large. And so if you want to make yourself a template, you can do that. It is not very hard, and don't know why I've never done it, so let's just do that real quick. I'm going to get my rectangular marquee tool. I'm going to create a new layer to work on, and I'm going to draw, actually I guess, so you're getting to see me working without having done this in advance. I'm going to get my grid out, and this paper is 12 inches wide, and so I can, let's just, for the ease of things, let's make them 6, so they're going to be every 2 inches. So I'm just going to grab this marquee tool, make my selection, and you can fill it with the paint bucket, or just hit Control Backspace. There we go. I'm going to do Alt Backspace to get my foreground color, and Control D to deselect. Now I can simply hold down my Shift key. Oops. Not my Shift key. I gotta get the right keys. Okay. Alt, Control, Shift. And that's not going to work. Yes, yeah, that worked. It created a new layer. That's a little technique, however you want to do it. If you want to hit on this one and do Control J, that would be fine. But if you hold down Alt, Control, Shift, and just click down with your mouse and move it over, it creates it on a new layer. And you can go on and quickly create. Now you can see I didn't do something right because I got a little bit of extra space there. And so what I want to do is make sure I line these all up. I can go under here, distribute by left edges, line top edges. So what I've probably done, since there's no spaces, is just not made my initial one big enough because I'm doing this in a hurry. So I'm going to hold down my Control Shift keys and highlight all the layers at the same time, and then simply just drag this out. There, now I have a template. I'll show you a little trick though. Let's go and turn off that grid. I'm only doing 5 papers, so I'm going to take off this template. I'm going to hold down my Shift and Control keys to select all of these at the same time. I'm going to do that again to show you. I've clicked on the top layer, hold down my Shift and Control keys, click on the bottom one. It highlights them all. Now I can resize them all at once. And now they're all even size. Just like that. Now you use this just like you do a template. And I'm going to drag this paper down and hit Control G. It'd be helpful if I would turn it on. I had them all invisible. Do the next one. Make it visible, and you can hit Control G. The next one. Let's turn them on. It's helpful if I make them visible, huh? Control G. And this one, Control G. And in this way you can know they're all I must not have did that very well. This one in the middle is a little bit larger. Oh, I didn't group them correctly. There we go. Now what's wrong up here? I wasn't paying attention. You probably can go back and watch this video to see what I did wrong. There we go. I didn't have them grouped properly. And this is my extra layer from earlier that I don't need because I went from 6 to 5. And then what you can do, you can leave it like this, but as we talked about it, we still have a very large file. So we can right click on each of these and merge them down now. And that's going to make little bitty squares for each piece. And your file is going to be much smaller now. And go back and add all those layer styles to each one of them. And now that's simple enough. And then you want to add your logo somehow. And most of them, I'm just going to give you a sample. You want to get creative and do your own. If you want to do this like a lot of them do, that's fine too. I'm going to create a new layer, get my marquee tool, and make a selection for a banner. A lot of them have these, and it's a good idea. And Alt backspace, I'm going to fill this. I'm making a template again is what I'm doing. And I'm going to get another new layer. And I'm going to hold down my Shift key. I've got the circular marquee tool. And so that I don't get an oval, because I want a circle, hold down my shift key, alt backspace to fill that in, and move it around until I get it in a position I like. And I really don't like it right there lined up with the paper. Having things lined up, if you go back to my design principles from course 1, the 2/3 thing going on is always much better. And so I'm going to move that over. I'm going to right click, merge down, and now I have a little template. But I want to fill that with paper. I want that to be realistic, and I'm going to give you this paper. I made it this morning because I know some of you haven't been into designing very long, and if it's going to be copyright friendly, you need your own paper, and so I'm going to give you this paper I made. You're going to want to fill it. I'm going to have to make it larger before I give it to you. Okay. Let's see. I'll make it larger myself. And then I'm going to hit Control G and group it, and now I have a neutral color paper. You're going to want, probably, if you want all of your previews to be consistent in your store, which many of the store owners do want that, you're going to want this template to be the same for each and every, I'm going to right click and merge down, kit that you make. And so you want to pick black, white, a tan, something neutral, and that's why I'm going to give you this paper for your previews. And I'm going to go ahead and add a drop shadow to it. Now I need to get my logo on there, and I've actually dropped it into my kit for convenience of this tutorial. And this is that one logo that doesn't want to come off. I have this stupid file. There it is. Oh, let's move it up a layer. And I don't know where I want it. I've never done this before. Put a layer style on it. There, I have my logo on there. In fact, I kind of like it big. I like it kind of off-centered there. A little bit off the, I could put it right there in the middle, but to me that, you know, I want to put my text there. You just have to kind of do what works for you. Come on, text tool. Okay. And I'm going to put Heritage Kit. Let's get a different font. You're going to want to use well, this is my font. We'll just make it bigger. A copyright friendly font. You don't want to mess around. However, you could probably get away with it for a preview. And, you know, that doesn't look very good. I don't remember which one of these that I have in here is copyright friendly. I have one called Primer Print that's from Harold's Fonts. So I'm going to use it. And I don't know why, but this says it's on auto, but it's too far apart, so let's try 48. There we go. And I think that looks nice there. Then you would bring in, you know, some of your elements. Here's my tag, and put them on there. Of course, it helps if you have it near your top. Paste layer style, and you know, I probably want to make that a little bit smaller for my preview. And then you just begin. However, this is the part where it begins to get a little bit more difficult. You have to have those designer skills that I can't teach you. Let me tackle one more thing. Um, a lot of them, and I've never done this, so you're going to get to learn by watching me playing. A lot of these kits will have it look where it's like these papers are on a uh, roll of material in the material store. And I think that's fairly easy to make, but let's just play here. I'm going to Control J this one to have something to play on. I think there are several ways I could go about testing this. You can use your burn tool, and I'm just going to make it a little bit larger, hold down my shift key to make a straight line, and just burn this edge. And you can see immediately that makes it look better. Hey, let's get rid of this extra one. Let's just do this to all these layers since we're playing, and I can always hit undo. And I'm going to do it to this one. Just going to go down and hit that burn tool on each and every one of those papers. And I'm using the default burn. And so you can see that immediately made my layout look a lot better just by doing that. You could actually make it a little bit smaller and go down and hit a smaller portion to make it even darker on each one. Some of the papers it's working on, some not. So let's hit undo and try another method. There they all come off. And I think you can also do this by using gradients. So I'm going to hold down my Control key and click on this blue paper to get marching ants around it. Let's go in here and find our gradient tool, and we want this one. It can be foreground to background color because I have black and white, or this one here that's called black to white. And let's just see what happens if I use this. It's going to make it rolling on the left side. We could reverse our gradient, but let's see what happens here. Why is that? Silly me, I knew that. I'm going to go up here to the top and create a new layer and apply that gradient again. And then what I'm going to do is hit probably soft light, and there we go. That works pretty well. And actually you can create this on the same layer for each of these. I'm going to go hold my control layer down, hit the next one, and then you could save this as gotta be on the right layer. This one layer as a template. Control key, hit this one. Control key, hit this one. Control key, hit this one, and Control D to deselect. And so you can see there how they also look like they are rounded papers. And now I have this layer here made. See the before and after. And actually, let's see what just plain old, see, overlay does not work. Multiply does not work. So the soft light works, and I could lower the opacity to it just, I don't know. Soft light works pretty good. lower the opacity a little bit if you wanted. But that's another way that you can instantly maybe make them look a little bit more like rolls of paper. And in fact, if I wanted to go up here and do image, rotate, and I'm going to flip the layer horizontally, that turns it around so the dark edges are on the right side if you'd rather have it that way. I think it looks a little bit better that way. You can then save this layer with your template to be applied time after time. I'm just not certain. Ah! Hey, that looks pretty cool. There's the soft light. What if we did overlay and lowered the opacity to it? Yeah, that would work too. None of these others seem to work. What was that? Let's see what multiply looks like lowering the opacity. You'd have to get it down pretty far. That one also looks okay. But I think your soft light is the one that's going to work the best. Sometimes I just need to go with my gut. There's that. Lowered the opacity a little bit. Put my tag back on there. So I actually like using the burn tool better than this, but if you wanted to use this as a template so you didn't have to use a burn tool every time, this would certainly work too. And so I hope you've enjoyed watching me play. I'll give you this paper so that you can create whatever you want with it for your own banner. For those that don't have a whole lot yet because you're just learning to create, and have fun with it, and I hope this has helped you out a lot. And I'm going to do a little video on how to save this next.